Welcome back now, 9/11 on this Tuesday morning. We're joined by Kentucky sports writer Dylan Ballard from A Sea of Blue. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's exciting. And we're right around the corner from basketball season.
Yeah.
We had Big Blue Madness just this past weekend, which was a lot of fun. I know you were there. Anything memorable from it so far? I mean, we were just talking in the break about it a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. There were so many things. And I think, you know, last year was hard to top because Rick Pitino comes back. But I will say that I think that this year, having John Wall back, and when that music hit and everybody knew it was John Wall coming up out of the floor, that was insane. Of course, the Jordan Smith. But I think also when you talk about what happened at Big Blue Madness, I thought for some reason the dunk competition, the three-point shootout, I think those things were actually done at a higher level as well. And it was one of the best Big Blue Madnesses I can remember.
Yeah, and we're showing some of that video right now. There's John Wall there. So the crowd went electric. Can you kind of describe that moment since you were there, what the reaction was like for that?
Yeah, so if you're a Kentucky fan at all, which most people are probably watching this news station at 9 a.m. R in Central Kentucky, 16 years ago when John Wall did the John Wall dance, and that was life-changing, momentum-changing for the program. And to have that again, that place went nuts when he came out. And John Wall's been to games recently. He's said on podcasts that he's still a Kentucky guy. But I think just him doing that dance to that song beside Pope, I think it was a statement that, these players still are Kentucky guys. And the atmosphere just went electric, and I think it was a really cool moment to be there. And I think people that have been around the program a while, I think people were probably even maybe tearing up a little bit. It brought back some memories.
And people are really excited, obviously, as I think both of us are on this couch. Let's go ahead and look ahead, though, at this season. Are there some players that you're watching very closely? I mean, honestly, I was just looking through the roster again this morning. We're pretty stacked, it seems. So what do you think?
Yeah, when I look at this roster, I wonder who's not going to play.
That's what I was thinking, too.
You even look at a guy, I actually think when you ask about players that are going to be game changers that maybe not a lot of people are talking about, I think Colin Chandler showed us a lot in the tournament. I think he showed us a lot even at Big Blue Madness. You can't tell a ton from that, but I think he's going to be the guy that really surprises people. He didn't play basketball for 2 years, and he was slow at the start of the year, had a ramp-up process. I think he's going to be good. But you even go all the way to the end of the bench. The guy that we're thinking is going to be the 13th, 14th man, Payden Hinkle, that's a top 30 recruit in the country. So the depth is not an issue here. I think the big question for me is, when does Jaden Quaintance come back? I think that'll be, probably your second best player behind Otega Oweh, a guy that's projected to be a top 5 pick. This team's just extremely, extremely deep. I think this team is extremely athletic. And I think Coach Pope said, sometimes we got outmanned last year on the athleticism, and at times, nothing against some of the guys, they were having to play guys that weren't ready, and I think he was not going to let that happen again when he constructed this roster.
Well, speaking of Mark Pope, this is going into year 2 for him. What are expectations? What expectations do you have for him? But also, do you think this is a year we could hang another banner? I mean, always that's the goal, right?
If you ask any player, if you ask Coach Pope, if you ask anybody around the program, the assignment's number 9, and that's what they want. I do think expectations from Coach Pope, they had big wins last year. They were really, really good last year, especially had such a short time. But I think for me, one of the things I would like to see this year is how well can we do in the SEC regular season? How well can we do in the tournament? How well can we do in the SEC tournament? I want to see success in one of those in a large way. I'd either maybe like to win the SEC tournament, SEC regular season, because I think this team I know they're ranked number 9 but in the preseason polls, but I think they're a top 5 team, and I think going to a Final Four is very, very possible this year. That doesn't have to happen, but I think this team is going to win in a big way, especially if they can get Quaintance healthy.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's talk about that. You just mentioned the preseason AP poll came out, ranked number 9. You already kind of said you think we should be ranked a little bit higher. So what do you think BBN is feeling about that preseason ranking?
I think if you're going to be ranked outside of the top 5 with the way this team's, the way this coaching staff and this program's talking about it, the best number is probably number 9, because that's all they're talking about. But I actually do think they're a little low. I think that if you look at the roster as a whole, and I know I've mentioned it 2 or 3 times, probably because Quaintance is injured. That may be it right now, because Oweh's not played a lot the preseason. They don't know what some of these guys that we're expecting to do well. But I personally thought they'd be around number 5 or 6. I think it's fair that Florida's ahead of them. Purdue, that's coming into town 2 weeks from last Friday, a week from this Friday. Houston, I know it's a Rick Pitino team we're going to see in December, but I think St. John's is a little high, but I expected 5 or 6, but I think 9's. Who cares? It's a preseason poll. It's going to work. It's going to work itself.
That's right.
out.
We'll just have to prove them wrong, right?
Yep.
So,
exactly.
All right. Well, coming up, you're going to stick around because you're going to join us a little bit later. We're going to break down some things about the women's team coming up a little bit later in the bottom of the hour. So make sure you stay tuned for that. You can find Dylan Ballard right here, all of his social media on your screen now. Plus, we have that big blue-white game on Friday. That's exciting too. He'll be there. Of course, our sports team will be there as well. And again, he's sticking around for a little bit. We'll be right back.